Start us off.
Yeah, well, thank you everyone for joining us this morning. We'll get going here quickly since we have a short time frame. This is our business owner series, our perspectives from the entrepreneurs themselves. So we appreciate our business owners joining us. If you've ever liked to see our past recordings, we have, I don't know, 40 or 50 of them on our Founders Group website. This is something we do every other month or so, and just a casual conversation. So this morning we have Oscar Medina with Ariana. I'm going to let Joe get us going.
Yes, good morning. Hi, everybody. My name is Joe Strazzeri. I've got with me, as you Shelley introduced, and to my right, that would be to your left, if I move the camera over, would be Ella, who organizes all this. Thank you all for being here today. Today, we're going to spend some time with Oscar and Ariana. Oscar and Ariana are in the back end of the sale process. They built a series of companies that are related, and over time have decided that they're going to exit. There have been family members involved in investing or not, and other friends. They've been controlling the interest, and we're going to talk about how it came to here, what things they've thought about along the way that they wish they would have known, that they wish they would have known in the beginning of the sales process or when they started, and how they feel about it all now. So Oscar and Ariana, first off, congratulations.
Well, thank you. We're not 100% there yet, but we're almost there.
And I think we'll consider 100% there when we sign the documents, get the money, or we get the second tranche of the money, etc.
When we get the money in the bank is when I consider 100%.
So, Oscar, I'll ask you first. How many years ago did you and Ariana start the first business of these series of businesses?
So, it's interesting because we started working together about 25 years ago, 30 years ago almost.
28.
It, it was another healthcare company that we started. I was in Ohio, and Ariana and Hector, my brother, were here. And I was working double time over there, and while they were working here, and they were the first two employees for one of the healthcare companies that we started on our own. And this was a while back, and we've been on our own for a long time. This last company, we started it in, I think it was 2010 or 2011. From there, we started building other companies that were interrelated with different products, healthcare products, that would help accomplish what we were looking to do, which is control and manage the utilization of the patient's care. I don't know, Ariana, if you want to add anything to that.
I think you pretty much covered it. Yeah. I think 28 years ago, startup, got to do a little bit of everything. And along the way, ups and downs and all arounds and, multiple businesses, and not all of them have been as successful. So it's like Oscar likes to say, the most expensive education. So, yeah.
As you're suggesting, during the times that you were growing, you were looking at strategic byproducts, other things you could do within the industry that were within your set of core competencies that the industry needed. Some of those businesses took off and did well, and some you had to prune away because they didn't. Is that true?
Correct. And like to this date, we have a product that we're just coming out with, remote patient monitoring. We had it 9 years ago. However, it was ahead of its time. Even Medicare was not reimbursing for that. So now we updated it, and we think it's going to be a great product that adds to what we're doing right with managed care and the complex case management cases that we have with our members, especially in the rural areas where you can have someone check their blood pressure from home and have it immediately within seconds at your computer or at the doctor's office, or with their mom if she's in another state, or whatever it is. We feel very excited about that.
So, like we just said, you've identified within your core competencies companies and products. You've had strategic byproducts that you had to kill off. Some you put up on the shelf, and it waited 7 or 8 years. You took it back off the shelf.
Correct.
Entrepreneurial.
That's pretty much. describes it, yes.
Are most of these choices of which ones to kill or put on the shelf because of reimbursement?
It was both. Like to give you an example, we bought a small company in Chicago about five years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, because we thought we could turn it around. It was not exactly related to what we were doing, but it has something to do with behavioral health, which is what we're in. But it turned out to be very challenging, and we decided to sell it back to one of the previous owners to stay with us because we were losing money for the last 3 years, and for me, the rule is kind of like if you can't make money after 4 or 5 years, then you better move on. You know,
Very true. Now let's talk about the money it takes to do this. At the time, did you fund everything yourself or did you have investors?
we did a little bit of both. We had some investors that came in with each company that we have. Some of them we did it on our own, and but for the most part, we always had one or two investors that came in, and they were usually our friends. In some cases, we needed a doctor that needed to sign off on the professional corporation, and so we brought those guys in as needed.
So you brought in professionals that you needed for licensing. You
Mm-hmm.
brought in some people for financial support. Or any of the people you brought in, other than financial support, did they bring a talent to the companies, or was it either the doctor where you need to sign off or finance and that's it?
It was the doctor that signs off usually is our medical director also. So they do have to have some background in the managed care field and what we do. And so it was like the doctor we needed his license and also his professional services.
Sure. Now, over time, you've had family members that own interests as well. Did the family members contribute finances, or was that your way of giving back to your family?
No, they didn't contribute direct finances, but at the time when you're first starting, you can pay your kids whatever you have, and so they didn't contribute directly, but indirectly they did. And there was a couple times where I would tell my son, the first one that came on board with me, is that I would give him a check and say, "Well, don't cash it until next week." Because the money didn't come in or whatever it was. But that type of financial support I did get from them, and also you know when you're starting up, it's hard to find people that are looking to make what they should be making financially, and who better than your family to pay them less than what you're supposed to be paying them. So yeah, so that's how the family came into the business as well.
So some of the family members, especially your children, came in and you would sometimes delay payment to them or pay them a little bit less, but then they received some sort of equity in the company as well.
So over the years, that was part of the whole plan is to have them have some participation, which is what they do now, and they're doing very well. And but more importantly, they also wanted to learn the business. And because I did tell them, look, you can come over, but if you think that you're gonna be here just for the free ride, I can't have you because I need people to help, you know. So that's how we got him to come to work with us.
So, Oscar, you know, my son is about to join our firm, and he often teases when he comes in because he's worked with firms since he was a little boy. He used to clean out trash cans and do scanning and work the front desk, etc. And he was talking to some of the team members. He said, "Please don't think it's going to be easy for me. I have to come in earlier, stay later, work harder, and I'm still not going to please Dad." I said, "That's not fair, son." And he looked over at me like, I know how this is going to go." Are you somewhat similar, Ariana, as you laugh?
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, no, I love that. That's great.
So, how has it been for you having family members in the business?
Great. I think, and I can say that, because we have 3 and 3. Oscar has 3 kids. I have 3 kids.
Yes.
And all of them have contributed in one way or another. So, Oscar's 3 boys work full time, and the kids on my end, a couple are still in school, but they've all participated, whether it's working on IT at the old office or, working at one of the companies doing again, like you were just saying, Joe, like being the receptionist or the person that's printing the flyers or what have you. So yeah, so all six have contributed in some way, shape, or form, and you know,
That's
so it's
beautiful.
great.
Now,
Yeah,
you had suggested Oscar's children are a little bit older than yours, correct?
that's right. They are. Yes.
So therefore, they ended up getting to able to participate equity-wise. Is that true?
Yes.
And you
Yes.
have not yet, correct?
No, no, my kids were still in high school, so it was internships in the summer or it was a side job because they were at, college, that kind of thing. So it's a
Sure.
little bit different, yeah, because they're younger.
So Ariana and Oscar, as your children have now participated equity-wise, and there's a liquidation event coming, that's going to be a large number in their lives, correct?
Yeah, for them, yes, it is. Absolutely.
Mhm.
And
It's a
even with their
number.
smaller percentage, a large number. What is it like having a child suddenly attain that level of wealth within a second? And because if I was to equate it with my children, I don't control with finances, but often we support the things that we want to do with how they get paid or the other things that we support with them. Suddenly they get a big old bucket of money and they're able to do whatever they want. What's that like for you, Oscar?
Well, I mean, what we're trying to do is to make sure that they use the funds correctly, to which I always try to let them know that it's always save money for a rainy day because they know that already working around me that it's not always great. It's ups and downs, and so I think they understand that. And so we're trying to guide them to buy a home and do the things that they need to do to secure not only themselves but also for their future and their kids. The ones that have kids, I have two grandkids, so he just bought a house, so that's we try to encourage them to do those things and not to use the money to say, okay, I'm done, because you're not done. You're just starting. And so we're working with them and with you guys' advice and for them and us always, letting them know that they need to save money for a rainy day. I think um they're maturing a lot more than anybody. They just coming in and they've been with us for like my oldest, I mean, one of the twin boys, he was my first employee, and then my brother came in to play after that. So we were the only ones at the office at one time, so he understands what it is not to have anything. And he's uh he's very fortunate to see the good and the bad, I guess, or the bad and the good, because we're doing well now, but we were not doing well for a long time. And a lot of times when you get that kind of money, you think you're always going to have it. It's not until you don't have it that you learn that you need to be saving. So.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ariana, you were
No,
saying?
I was gonna say, yeah, especially when, they're still young, right? And they're already doing well. And so I think that is a challenge in and of itself. So
It sounds to me that you're talking about the tug and pull, if I can call it that, or the push and pull amongst these different factors. One, you want they've contributed. That's great. They've seen the ups and downs of being an entrepreneur. That's great. But at a very young age, they're going to have a liquidation event. They have a spouse who has an opinion or not. They are getting a large amount from the sale, but they've also been compensated for working in the company. And if it wasn't for the company, how do they find a different job or not? What is that like? All those things coming together.
I think, and I've been preparing them for this because also we don't know what's going to happen right after we close. So you just have to be ready for whatever comes your way. And because your last name is Medina, a lot of things could come your way, whether the good, bad, or indifferent. So that's the only thing that I've been able to do with them is prepare them for whatever may happen after we close. So I think they understand that, and they're knowledgeable enough in their field now that they can probably go anywhere and get a job right away if they needed to.
Sure. And then, so what are the things that you now know that you wish you knew 15 years ago about building a business or about building for sale?
one of the things that Ariana and I talked about selling a business, building a business, I think we learned our lessons as we went along all these years because we had a lot of failures. That's um, part of growing up, being an entrepreneur and risking it all because that's what you do. You're risking it everything. And a couple times I did that and I survived and I came back. But I think the main thing that we have learned now is, hiring professional people to do a lot of the work that you thought you could do everything, because sometimes we think we can do everything makes a huge difference, especially on a sale like the ones that we're trying to close now. This particular group that is helping us, they've been talking to us for about 4 years. We go to conferences and we see them. We know the people in the industry, and finally we decided, okay, they invited us to San Francisco to the yearly what's that conference? The finance
Investor,
Morgan, no,
JP Morgan.
JP Morgan conference. And so we went over there and they had scheduled us with about 25 potential buyers at that conference. And we didn't even have time for lunch or dinner sometimes because we were so busy. But out of that, this came out. And, even though they're not cheap, they're very professional and they're making things happen for the right reasons. And it's going to cost us a lot more than what I thought it would cost us to close this. But for me, this is a lesson learned going through this whole process. And just, we're working with Moss Adams, they're not cheap either. So, so it's, but paying every penny is worth so far what we paid them. It's been worth it because they also were able to enlighten us on some of the things that we could improve on, like on the billing and the processes that we have in place. So that's been very helpful, and we're excited about that, and keep growing into the next phase of this because we're going to retain about 39% of the company. So our goal now is in 5 years to turn around and sell it again with a new potential partner that we're going to have.
So in essence, you've learned, or one of the things that you've gleaned from this is that professional help, although it costs money, has increased the value of the company, and so that you've been able to make up for that, and the likelihood of sale. And then the second part is you're considering a two tranche answer, a liquidation event where you take some chips off the table, and then you're going to ride for the balance of it, where there'll be a second event later on. Am I hearing that correctly?
That's correct. And the second event could be even bigger than this event.
Yeah.
Where we have a goal on our EBITDA, what we want to reach. And, we're more than 50% there already, and we're just starting, So that's these guys, the group that we're partnering with, they really know their business, and they have all the right people in place. So I think uh, we're going to be able to make it happen, maybe even sooner than 5 years.
Beautiful. And Ariana, you were going to say?
Oh, no, I was just agreeing, nodding.
So, Ariana, what has it been like, the concept of selling but not selling completely, getting some chips off the table, having partners who sound really good up front, but you're gonna have to live with them for a while for a bigger number? What's that like being, as opposed to you and Oscar being the main partners, now you've got other players?
Yeah. Well, I think, I agree with Oscar. I think at the beginning, we thought we could do it all, right? And yeah, you can, but maybe not to, the level of somebody who is a professional in that field. What's it like? I think, you know, we want Oscar to have more free time, and we want Oscar to not have the same level of stress, and but no purchaser or partner that's coming in is going to just, we're not just going to hand over the keys and say, okay, go figure it out, right? So we know there's a transition period. We know that Oscar is going to have to be on board, probably for, I don't know, several months or something around those lines. So, but it's it'll be in a different capacity. And I think we're good with that. It'll probably look more like business development for him as opposed to day-to-day CEO, dealing employee issues and all of that, which is what he loves, right? So, we're very driven. We're still going to have many projects that we want to keep working on, that may or may not be related to this one as well. So, always keeping busy. I think it's good. I think it's going to be great. With the help of these new investors, they're going to help us take it to the next level.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
And I hear just a little tentative part of your voice, considering what it's like for your personal life and for how you interact with your own company, the idea of changing roles and the idea of having more time or not, because you have a lot of chips on the table for this growth. So it tends to want you to be just as involved. And if I might, Oscar, I'll poke at you. I don't know that you own a slow down button. And if you have it, I've never found it.
There's no off.
Well, there's definitely not an off.
I gotta
There's
find where are the batteries.
yeah.
He's the Energizer Bunny. That's what I call him.
I think Oscar has full throttle and dead stop. So, Oscar, what is it like thinking about changing your role?
You know what? We've been talking about it, and I just turned 64, so I'm ready for that, and I want to enjoy whatever time I have left, as much as I can with my wife and my family and everything that we're doing. And we have other non business projects that we're working on already, and so we want to expand on those. And so that's what I want to do as I move forward, now more into my retirement years. Plus, my contribution, continued contribution will be to use some of the people contacts that we have to expand the company's role as it grows into the next level of growth that we want it to be at.
Beautiful. Well, from all of us on the call today, thank you for being so open and giving us a glimpse into what it's like to grow, what it's like to build businesses and have some pieces that you have to give up, some pieces that you put on a shelf and pull down later, and then going to market, understanding that passive investors are a little bit different than an active investor that can grow your company. The idea that it's expensive to go down there, but you're seeing the reward in the additional dollars that are coming. The contemplation of some chips off the table that might be bigger than you ever thought while still taking a ride. The change to your personal lives, the changes to your family as family members get more money than you ever thought they might have at one time, but they still need income or not. And how do you still guide them and make sure that they don't make the mistakes? And Oscar and Ariana, how open you've been about letting your children see that it isn't always it isn't always going up. It isn't everything's fine. That they had to participate with you in the downtimes of can't cash that check for another week. We have a struggle. It may not happen. And then sitting with them as you talk about this liquidation of how do you be smart with this because you don't know what the next day brings. And at the same token, talking about your own relationship and talking about what that next day looks like and what these people are promising for a larger amount of money and what they're asking for in time versus what you can or can't do given our ages. So we've learned a lot today from you guys. Thank you for being so open.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having
Thank you.
us.
Thank you, guys.
And Daniel, thank you for the introduction to Oscar and Ariana.
Yes. Daniel Keane is on the phone with us today. Daniel was kind enough to introduce the family to us, and we were able to work together intimately. There's been a lot happening within the sale and within the possibility. I have been on 4 different continents having conference calls over, we need to talk right now. And Daniel has my cell phone number. And he'd say, Oscar and Ariana just needs a couple of minutes, or we need you to deal with this other professional or the tax account or the planning or the kids. And we've been honored to be included. So thank you guys very much.
It's been a privilege. Thank you.
See you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you.
appreciate it. Bye-bye.